What a joy that you have found us for this podcast. How exciting it is to think that this spiritual message is going out to people around this planet. Whether your life is working at a peak level or whether it can use some enhancement, have I got the message for you today. So get a piece of paper, get ready to take notes, call a friend, have them watch this podcast also. Then you too can have something to talk about and take it to a deeper level. So enjoy. Here we go.
And good morning, Seaside. What a joy it is to be with you on today, a fabulous day, a day in which religious science centers across the country go back to the basics. When I talk about going back to the basics, it usually has to do with those first 4 introductory chapters of The Science of Mind, which is a book that was written by Ernest Holmes that has since become our textbook and was published in 1927. And really, one of the things he says in the chapter on how to use it is one of the challenges with the new order of thought is that people are too likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice, and that we can actually only know as much as we can actually demonstrate. So it's not about just talking this stuff and sounding all eloquent and all that, but it's about actually demonstrating it in our life. It is getting out there and making it happen in your life and in your world. And Ernest Holmes really made it simple. This whole concept of the science can become complicated. He really made it simple with a statement that is kind of our jingle. It is a very simplistic statement that anybody says, what is this science of mind stuff, this religious science? He said, change your thinking, change your life. Yeah. It's that simple. I mean, that's the way it goes. You change your thinking, you change your life. That's how it works. I mean, Jesus said it's done unto you as you believe, or the law of attraction. You can get into all those particular things, but our little saying is change your thinking, change your life, because you know what? We live in a magnificent world. We live in a fabulous world that is beautiful, it is gorgeous, it is rich. It is a place where we can experience Eden here in this world as we walk, and we get so caught up with trying to figure it out, to negotiate it, to make this happen, to make that happen. You know what? It's already been given to us. It's been given. All we have to do is say yes, because the universe is saying yes. It's given it to you. There's a fun story of a guy who's actually, his business is he's a negotiator. And he took off work a little early one afternoon, and he went down to the beach, and he went to the pier, and he did some fishing, and he spent several hours just casting out there, and he caught nothing. And it got to be about the end of the day, and he caught himself a little fish, this little colorful fish, and he reeled it in. And as he brought it in, the fish said, please let me go. Let me go. I'm just a small fish. And the guy said to him, I'm not going to let you go. I've been fishing all day. This is the only thing I have to show for my efforts. As he threw him in the bucket, the little fish went around in circles, stuck his head up and said, okay, I'll tell you what. I will grant you 3 wishes. And the guy said, 3 wishes? Don't you get it? I'm a negotiator. I maybe for 5 wishes, I'll let you go on this one. And the little fish said, you know what? I can only give you 3 wishes. The guy says, I negotiate multi-million-dollar deals every day. You start off low. I know you have got more to give. So I'll tell you what, I will let you think about it. And the fish is thrashing around in the bucket. And the negotiator, he starts to walk away thinking how desperate the fish is. And eventually he'll give in to his 5 wishes. And then he saunters on down to the end of the pier, and by the time he gets back, the bucket is upside down, the water's all over, and he hears a splash in the water, and he looks over the pier, and there's the fish, swimming away, jumping like a dolphin. He sticks his head up and shouts back. He said, I wasn't negotiating. I was just giving you something for your time. Ooh, not negotiating. Well, I got to tell you what, the universe in which we live does not negotiate with us. This universe and God is not negotiating with you. But the good news is it has given you it all already. It has given you your 5 wishes. It has given you it all, and it is right here for us to say yes to, because the universe says yes, and to your level of belief, you change your thinking and you will change your life. That is the way it works. That is the simple version of it. The universe isn't about setting up a contract. You do this, I'll do that, let's negotiate a little bit more. That's like the traditional religions where you make deals with God. I promise I will be good and you'll take care of me over here. Those days are gone. It's been given to you already. That's the good news. That's the basics of our philosophy. It is about coming into alignment, negotiating, or setting up contracts is like, if you do this, then this will happen. A contract is protective. A contract is making sure if things go this way, then that goes that way. And there's nothing wrong with contracts. But when we're dealing with God, it's a covenant. It's been guaranteed. It's already been given. There are no ifs, ands, and buts. It is a sacred understanding. It's a mutual intent. That sole purpose, that's something that has been put in your heart and soul, has already been promised. And what you get to do is step into that. Come into alignment with that which you truly are. But you've got to believe that. You've got to believe, you've got to know. You've got to put your faith and deep knowingness more in the presence of God. That God is far greater than what I may be fearing. That I've got to believe more that it has been given, that I have been taken care of, that the kingdom of heaven has been delivered. More than the fear and the worry and the concern and the scarcity and all those fears that begin to loom up large in our consciousness and our perspective. You know, it's about practicing it. It's about demonstrating it. It's about making it work in our life. It is about becoming aware of your thoughts about this. Am I beginning to believe more in my fears or what the doctor says or what the economy says or what the real estate market is doing than what God has in store for me? I can't answer that for you, but you've got to ask yourself, where is it that you believe? More in the facts of this world or in the presence of God? Take a look. When was the last time you looked at your thinking, your consciousness, your awareness, your understanding? When did you last take that third-person perspective of your thought process? That's how you become conscious. Consciousness is a choice. I know people who go a whole decade before they ever pay attention that what they've been thinking, that they've been living their life in a reactionary perspective, and I have to respond to this world. I've got to respond because they want to take this from me. Consciousness is a choice. Consciousness is an awareness in the presence. The consciousness is an awareness in the present moment. It is being present here and now, above all else, above all things. And it is through that kind of awareness and that awareness of God as you. That's it. God as you. See, that's the basic. That's the thing itself here. I mean, God is everything. That means you. I mean, you're not all a spirit. But Ernest says 1 + 0 = 1. He didn't really make up that equation. It's just kind of a basic understanding. Just like God plus nothing leaves God. So the truth of your being is God. That's the basic foundation of the thing itself. You are that. And so as you become consciously aware of that and make that your choice, you change your thinking to that, things begin to happen in your life. You know, in the chapter on the way it works, it is love directs the law. There is the love and the law. It is all is love, is what Ernest says, and all is law. The idea he took of love and the law actually came from Robert Browning. I don't know how much credit he gives him for it, but you know what? All is love and all is law. There is a love. That is the warmth. That is the decision. That is the first cause. That is the color. That is the passion. That is what we want to feel about spirit. And then there is a law. There is that which executes it. That is that which is infallible. That is which is mechanical. That is which is dependable. There's the love and the law. There is that which has the thought, and there is that which executed. Love points the way, and law makes the way possible. Is Ernest's teaching around this. And so as you begin to choose from within yourself, not from the effects of the world, you begin to take power back in your life. Ernest Holmes writes in his book, The Science of Mind, from the chapter on the thing itself. He says that since some people have been healed through prayer, while others have not, the answer is not that God has responded to some and not to others, but that some have responded to God more than others. Their prayer or their thought has responded by corresponding. For the answer to prayer is in the prayer. And what is prayer? A prayer is a movement of thought within the mind of the one praying along a definite line of meditation that is for a specific purpose. And what is mind? No one living knows. But we know a great deal about the mind, but not what it is. By mind, we mean consciousness. We are now using it. We cannot locate mind and body, for while the body is a necessary vehicle for consciousness while we are here, it is not consciousness. How often do people think that they're their bodies? How often do people feel that mind is what they're thinking inside their brain? You are more than what is thinking inside your brain. Who you are is using this body. Who you are is using this brain. Who you are is animating this bag of bones. Who you are is far greater than this physical thing that is walking through this world. And when this physical thing has its challenges, it will respond as to what the body says or to what your consciousness tells it what to do. You change your thinking and you will change your body. You change your thinking, you will change your life. You change your thinking and your world will respond. It has to do that. It is the law. So all of a sudden you come up against something that wasn't as wonderful feeling as you like it to be. All of a sudden you look in the mirror and you realize you just may not be that model, that hunk that stepped out of a fashion magazine that you used to be. Well, I'll tell you what, you can think about that for a long time and commiserate over that. But what I know about you, what I know is the truth about you, is that you were made in the image and the likeness of God. You were made in the image and likeness of the Almighty itself. That is the truth about who you are, no matter what anyone is saying to you. It is about aligning your thinking with that covenant that Spirit said, you are an expression of who I am. That covenant said, I am with you always, and I will never forsake you. You are an expression of the divine itself. It is time for you to claim that in the face of any of the obstacles that are out there. And when those obstacles are there, and granted, we hit up against those times where we get the setbacks. I work, that's what I do. I listen to people and the setbacks and the challenges that come into people's lives, whether there has been disappointment, whether there has been failure or a divorce or a bankruptcy or lost it all in the .com market or losing it all in the real estate market. And I listen to these setbacks and the tapes that begin to play in people's head, and they begin to play over and over and over that I'm not good enough, I blew it, I had my chance. And as one begins to focus in on this negative, these tunes become louder, and there's more evidence to substantiate that what you have to do is to change that tune on your cosmic iPod to a positive one that turns you on. Put on some marching music for God here. Yeah, change your thinking, you will change your life. If you're looking why not, what happens is you will find why not. Seek and ye shall find. Why not is this not working? Well, this is why. This is why you study it. What do you do with it once you find it? Not much other than wallow in it and share it with people as to why it's not working and why am I a victim and what has happened to the real estate market or what has happened to this relationship. Let me tell you more and more, and you begin to go down and down and down. You get twisted and converted, and oh my goodness. And you get used to it. Oh. There was a study done out at college, and the researchers had some of the college students wear a pair of glasses that optically turned everything upside down. So they put on the glasses, and everything they saw was upside down. Needless to say, it was total chaos in their world. And they couldn't walk, function, bump into things. They had to be led to class. But an interesting thing happened. After a few days, their eyes or their brain began to make adjustments, and they began to see okay. And they began to be able to function. They were able to get to their class okay. And after a week, they were starting to adjust to that the researchers asked if they would proceed for a month, and they said yes. And what happened at the end of the month is that they so adapted to that upside-down world that they could then see, operate, walk. Not only could they walk to their classes, they could then read their books, they could write their papers, they could operate on the computers because they had adjusted to that upside-down world. Look in our life, how we adjust to things that aren't right, that aren't comfortable, that could be abusive. How we adjust to saying, well, okay, it's just tough out there right now. Says who? maybe for someone else, but not for me. I'm living in Eden here in the kingdom of earth. I am bringing my conscious awareness to the presence, and the presence is where God is here now. The universe says, yes, you want to be miserable? Yes, go ahead. I don't care. You want to be happy? Sure, go ahead, be happy. The yes is like the optical surgery that turns things around. That is, change your thinking. When you wear glasses, or when you don't wear glasses and you're used to wearing glasses, things are kind of foggy out there. Have you noticed that? Yes, well, those who wear glasses and others aren't fessing up. Things are a little foggy and fuzzy out there. And what you do is you put your glasses on and you see okay. But what happens in life when things are foggy and fuzzy out there, what people try to do is fix the fuzz and the haze and the mix-up. They try to fix the blurriness. They do their prayers to heal the blurry. When nothing needs to be fixed, when you put your glasses on, you can see clearly the good and the clarity has been there the whole time. It's just you have not been clear with it. And as we put that on, we begin to see and we begin to know as God knows. You change your thinking. That's the basic thought here. Ernest writes in chapter what it does, which is part of the introductory one, says, if God is to interpret itself to us, it must interpret itself through us. It's not what I'm saying. It's not what you're reading. You must have the experience. It's the actual demonstration. It's from our fruits that we take our own authority. Spirit must interpret itself through us, and the Spirit can make no gift that we do not accept. For the thing then works for us by working through us and in us always. It cannot work for us in any other way. It spreads itself out of the whole universe. It shouts at us from every angle. But it can become power to us only when we recognize it as power. Therefore, our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle which of itself is without limits. It is ready to fill everything because it is infinite. So it is not a question of its willingness nor its ability. It's entirely a question of our receptivity. Our belief sets the limits. That's the basics right there. It's infinite. It's shouting at us from everywhere. It says, I'm here. Put the glasses on. See clearly. You don't need to create Eden. You don't need to create heaven. You don't need to create the good. I'm not negotiating here. I have got a covenant with you. It's unlimited. It's shouting at you. It says, accept it. Live it. Demonstrate it. Believe it. But you've got to plant that seed and not give the power away. There was a guy walking down a country road. He decided to visit a farmer who was back on his rocking chair on the porch. And the stranger said, hey, how's your cotton crop this year? The farmer said, well, I didn't plant any cotton this year. I was afraid of the boll weevils. Oh, okay. Well, how's your corn crop this year? Well, I didn't plant any corn this year. I'm afraid of the drought. He said, well, how's your potato crop? He said, well, I didn't plant any taters. I'm afraid of them tater bugs. So what did you plant? He said, well, I played it safe this year. I didn't plant anything. How many people are not planting anything because of the fear? I'm just trying to recover. I'm just trying to get balanced here. They allow their fear to be the stop sign. They allow their fear to be the focus of why not do something new, great, grand, glorious, and wonderful that your soul hungers to do. What is it? Because you will grow to resemble that which you love. You will grow to resemble that which you love. That is, I like that too. What is it you love? What is it you're talking about? What are the thoughts that you're holding in consciousness? What story are you putting out there for others to see? Where do you need to change your thinking? Are you taking the time to be conscious of your thoughts, or are you just reacting? How are you programming yourself? At night, Callie and I, we do our prayers with Trevor. And one of the lines in the prayers is, Trevor Dane Sorensen, he's the best. And he just grins from ear to ear. He loves that. And he likes it so much, sometimes he'll like bait us. He'll go, Trevor Dane Sorensen. And we get to fill in the blanks. And there's also a part, and I just figure that's wonderful food for him to ingest in his consciousness at night when he's thinking. It's something for him to think about. Then there's another part in the prayer where he says, you live in a world that is filled with joy and happiness and love and peace and understanding and forgiveness and gratitude, friendship, love, prosperity, perfect health. And he just, he likes that. And he repeats it. But sometimes I want to kind of rush through the prayers and get out of there. So, I leave that off. I go walk into the door and I hear, Daddy. Yes, Trevor? He says, you forgot to tell me the world I live in. It's like, wow. Because what I've come to realize, if I don't tell him what kind of world he lives in and how good that he is, someone else will. If I don't tell him what kind of world he lives in and what kind of person he is, the world will give him the leftovers. It will give him the collective belief. It will give him the headlines that are out there. If you do not tell yourself what kind of world you live in, you get to live in the world that gets thrown at you. If you do not tell yourself how wonderful you are, you get to be bombarded by what the doctors say or your bank account says. If you do not tell yourself what kind of world you live in, who knows what kind of world you live in? But what I do know is that you are an expression of God, made in the image of the Almighty, living in heaven and earth now. I know that, I see that, and I claim that for you. All we have to do is change our thinking. We'll change our life. I challenge you. Give it a try in this new year. Happy New Year, everyone. Love you. Again, with a lot of heart and soul and passion. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now.
Hey, I trust you enjoyed that podcast. It was very exciting to be able to create that and to know that there are people like you all around the world that are observing and integrating these spiritual principles into their life. And so if you enjoyed it, what I'd like to do is encourage you to tell a friend or bring several friends together and watch another one of these podcasts, and then afterwards take some time to talk about the spiritual principles, to talk about the stories and what significance they have and relevance they have in your life. What then happens is it moves to a deeper and deeper level in your world. It becomes real and assists you to create the freedom in your life that your heart and soul so desire.